Announcements, huge announcements. Alex is engaged to a lovely Caroline.
Yeah.
Congrats, buddy.
Thank you. It's exciting. Society, a healthy community. Where does the alcohol fit? And I don't know, that's a kind of fun challenge to figure out.
All of our headlines are fucking terrifying.
I know, it's a really dark water cooler today.
Yeah.
This one has a lot of hair. This one has a normal amount of hair. It's Pat and Alex. This one was born in Raytown. This one lives in Raytown. They opened a store in the pandemic, and this is a show about it. Hustle and bustle. Hustle and bustle. Hustle and bustle. Here is the show.
Arts, that'd be a cool skill to have.
That would be a dying art. A dart.
Hello and welcome back to Hustle and Bustle. I'm Pat.
I'm Alex.
It's a beautiful morning in Raytown.
It is, dude.
It's
Has spring sprung?
Spring has sprung. Now let's talk about the fucking weather because it's awesome.
It's worth talking about.
Okay, let's talk about daylight savings time because, yeah, you have some strong opinions. I mean, the worst part about right now is it's dark in the morning.
Yeah. It's nice that it's light when I go home, but the dark mornings suck, and it for about 3 or 4 days. I think I'm finally sleep adjusted, but definitely fucked me up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, my biggest gripe is I like good weather. I'm excited to like get walking and try to get like lose some lbs, you know. And I want to take Fritz on walks in the morning. We've got this great path over like this bridge through the woods in our neighborhood to the park. It's like the literally idyllic thing for a guy like me and Fritz. But it's a little spooky when it's dark, and I just can't. Like, I got to do it early, and I'm way too scared to do it.
You got a Fritz
in the dark. He's a big old boy, but I'm scared.
Both.
I need some light. Okay, there's something about not being able to see what's coming at you that's disconcerting.
No doubt. That's true.
Announcements, huge announcements. Alex is engaged to a lovely Caroline.
Yeah.
Congrats, buddy.
Thank you. It's exciting. It's been a long time coming.
How long have you guys been together now?
3 years in March.
There you go.
Which I feel like is the appropriate amount of time, actually. I feel like that's good.
Look, it was 7 months for me and Jen, so...
It's true. I forgot how quickly y'all got engaged. It was good. It was real simple. I did it at home. Got together a bunch of special pancake fixins and a bunch of flowers. And
look, when I saw your picture, I'm not gonna lie. Look, I don't want to pee on your cereal here, but like your pancakes looked a little burnt.
Well, yeah, it's because I proposed to her right before we started making them, so we burnt every single pancake because we just weren't fucking paying any attention.
Yeah. That's a good excuse.
They were still really good. Most of it was like a kind of. Crusted chocolate. They were chocolate chip.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
That's delicious then.
And you throw some Nutella on it, and it's fucking...
Yeah.
It makes anything taste good. But yeah, we're engaged. We're planning to elope.
I love it.
Which has caused some exciting
Very on brand, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. I would say so. It's something... A decision we're very confident about and excited about. I told Caroline, it was like... I think about 20 minutes after I had proposed and she said yes, I had this second wave of relief come over me, and it was the realization that I didn't have to invite anybody to a wedding.
Yeah.
And
I'm not going to lie, man. Planning the wedding was stressful.
That made me just as happy as proposing. Of like having to say no to people.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself. Anyway.
No matter what you do, you're pissing people off. No
Exactly.
matter how small you make it. So I had this... we were talking about this with somebody the other day. I don't know if it was with you or I don't remember who the hell it was. But we were talking about weddings. It doesn't matter how small you make it. You're going to make someone mad. Or how big you make it. You're going to make someone mad. Anyways, congratulations. The greatest news ever. You and Caroline are fantastic. Mr. and Mrs Gnarly.
That's right.
So, coming to you this fall.
She's not I said that a couple times. She's not...
she doesn't like that.
Big of a fan of that.
That's so funny. A couple of other announcements. Merch Madness is coming up. We are probably like 9 days away. I don't know what the exact number is.
I think that's it.
Merch Madness, March 24th. We're going to have a butt ton of vendors because it's looking like good, clear weather. So we're going to have a butt ton of vendors here at the shop, and it's going to be super fun. We're going to have March Madness themed games, and of course the game's on. Like, who doesn't? Like, we've got TVs, a lot of them, because we're building a bar. So, and we're gonna have a new shitter.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Big news that there will be a new place to relieve yourself in the garage area for Merch Madness. Maybe we should, we were talking about having like a ribbon cutting, or if they cut the nets, maybe we should take a basketball net and wrap it around the toilet seat.
And cut that?
That would instead of a ribbon cutting for Merch Madness. So look forward to that. That'll be fun. And then you can use it.
Yeah, that'll be not as exciting for you as it is for me. It'll probably just feel like another bathroom for you, but it'll be the best shit of my life. I can tell you that.
All right. Well, Alex may have shit there first, but these things happen. It is commercial space. So big deal. The bathroom's getting done. What do you? How you feeling about that?
Feeling great. The progress has been excellent. The work has looked really good. And we haven't had to do a whole lot of it, which is also a big plus.
Yeah, that's a huge plus.
It's like the first project in the store that we haven't necessarily been directly hands-on. Now that's about to end. We're about to have to get real handsy here soon, but it's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's just cool to see buildings transform, and construction being done is just a cool thing.
Dude,
and commercial construction just comes with so much red tape that you feel like you ran a marathon when you get through it and you see it actually being completed.
I can't imagine trying to put together any type of large building. Like I made that comparison in a story of like they built the stadium quicker than we built a bar, and just trying to picture all of the red tape everyone had to go through to plan that bitch sounds like it's not even worth it.
Yeah, like Instagram, like you see that aspirational photo and you're like, I want to be able to take that photo, right? Like if you're like a high school athlete, it may be the photo of you wearing like the hat of the college you're going to and announcing that you've been. I've signed to go play at this school. If it could be a million different examples like that. In my head, that's the liquor license. Like I've already taken the photo with the liquor license in my head.
Really?
Yeah. So this is like it feels like a big step towards that.
Awesome.
That just feels like it's going to be like graduating college.
I'll tell you what.
You know what I mean?
There's a gallon jug of Beefeater gin from like the 80s.
That's when we're cracking it?
That I have been thinking about for... I think we decided that's when we'd crack it open.
That's
when we get the liquor license. And I've just written it off. But now...
Gallons of gin and tonics.
I can taste it.
Gross.
It's close.
It's close and it's gross. A couple other big announcements. So anyways, Merch Madness is coming up. So come to that. It's going to be fun. And on top of the vintage, which we're going to have so many great vintage vendors here. And if you've never shopped at a vintage vendor event, which I guess is probably most of the people who listen or consume our podcast, there's actually some reasonably priced shit. There's going to be some overpriced shit. You're like, well, how the hell is that price? Like literally blatantly yesterday in the store, this like teenage girl was like, why is this $40? And I had to, she was like, well, it's old and it's like, yeah, but what makes it cool? And I was like, well, it's like a Marilyn Manson shirt from like the 90s. So like it's going to be rare. And Ruben chimed in and tried to help. And he was like, like I think they only sold that at the concert. And so I just struggled a little bit. I was like, because people will pay that much. You know what I mean?
I think the correct answer is to you. Probably isn't.
Probably exactly.
And
but
that's just the way it is.
Those chicks bought something because there will be something at this vendor event that
exactly.
you'll think is cool or dope that you can't afford or makes sense to you. So come fucking check it out. But we also have a potluck, or as we're calling it, a cookout, I think we're calling it, afterwards from 3 to 6, which is just fucking... drinking a little drink, eating some food, hanging out, playing some games. We're going to try to achieve Raytown's biggest game of knockout ever, which we're going to count if we get to 20. 5. Let's say 25. It's got the average classroom size. Like, surely an entire gym class has played a game of knockout before.
Yeah, I would say that would be what we're competing against.
So 30. Let's be honest about it.
Okay.
30. If we get the over-under's 30, if we get 31 people in a game of knockout, then we'll have succeeded.
We'll do something crazy for people. I don't know.
I'll do
figure out a
cartwheels.
price. Oh shit!
Yeah, that's right. This is what I used to.
They used to be our motivation.
When I was coaching Alex at high school rugby, I would offer cartwheels if they did good or won or something.
I don't know why it worked, but we.
Well, because I was fucking 500 pounds, and that was worth a watch. And now there's an inherent risk of danger, so it's also worth a watch. Anyways, come to the potluck for some cartwheels. A couple other announcements. Knoll Vintage, NOL, like Noel Vintage, like no losses vintage, I think is the play on words there. And Catalyst Vintage are two new consigners. They will be moving in Catalyst tomorrow.
Okay.
Friday. So by the time you hear this,
she'll have been moved in.
And then Monday as well.
Okay.
So will they also have been moved in?
Depends how
quickly we turn this bee around. So, either way, we got two new vendors coming in, which is awesome. How many feet? Do the quick math, the fast math for the folks at home. How many feet of racks are we now committed to consigners?
Currently, we've got about 70, maybe 80 feet.
That's with Catalyst and Knoll?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've still got another 20 feet to possibly fill out.
So that's 80 feet. What's 8 times 8? 640. And 8 times 12 is... I don't know how to do that. You're going to have to help me there.
Fucking...
80... 800...
Just don't even try.
800 and... That's no.
Wait, 12 times 80?
Mm-hmm.
960.
960. So we're close to probably, I would say, about 1,000 pieces of consignment is where we'll be. And this is like really good stuff. We have curated thrift. We've always had curated thrift. But this is like deeply, highly curated, even better. This is where you cross the line into what we would call vintage.
Yeah, I would say there's everyone's got a couple super hype dime pieces, and then the rest of it is just like real high quality curated mids. It's all great stuff.
And we're going to reshuffle the deck a little bit and squeeze probably two more in by the time before we're turning all of our attention to the bar. And then we are going to turn all of our attention to getting the bar open, which is exciting to talk about.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that now? Or do you want to put it on the shelf?
I don't know. We want to talk about it.
Well, that's what's next, right? The bathroom's done.
Yeah.
And, we really want to get to a place with this expansion. So we're going to give us through the Merch Madness to kind of get the consigner expansion up so we can fit two more people in. We have another expansion where we're going to get rid of the kitchenette and put some racks up there and get, maybe two more people in. But that's probably going to have to wait until after the bar because we really have invested a significant amount of time, energy, and money in this bar thing, and we need to get a return on it.
Yeah.
So now we're going to pivot to finishing the bar and getting it to a health inspection. And once we have the health inspection, the liquor license should be the last stretch across the tape.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy to say the liquor license should be the simplest portion of this.
Right.
But
that's not simple either.
Yeah.
Right. None of it is. It's all taken forever. Hopefully it doesn't take us 2 more years.
Yeah.
Or that beard's going to be a lot grayer.
Yeah. Oh, shit. It might be gone. Might be bald.
Let's get to some around the water cooler. Trader Joe's tote bags.
Okay. Yeah. So I've got a little of a... We're trying to build a brand here, so I'm always connected when I see brands do crazy things. Was real interested in Crocs, and then the CMO who kind of built Crocs up again moved to Stanley. And I think everyone remembers the Stanley fucking craze the last 6 months.
The cups?
The cups, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that the same as the tools?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. And so now, Trader Joe's, I would say, kind of falls into that same brand that people just have a blind affinity for, and it's super fascinating.
It's got a great cheese selection.
Listen, it's a great place to shop. I've been an Aldi or Save-A-Lot customer for the last 4 years.
Save-A-Lot?
Oh, yeah, that was some dark times.
There has got to be a data tracking the colon cancer or something. You know what I mean? There's got to be a negative outcome because I have shopped at some Save-A-Lots.
Oh, man.
It is not the same food.
Yeah. It's
they have brands that you don't get other places.
The brands that Aldi says no thank you. So anyway, Trader Joe's is just a 100 times better version of both of those stores. It's super. I think it's decently easy to shop. They have not a huge selection, but they have it. You grab it and you leave, which I like. I don't like choosing between 10 Dino Nuggies. There's a bag of Dino Nuggies. Let me get them. But so anyway, if you've been following them, there's been this recent craze where they've brought back their kind of like vintage style tote bags, and people have been going buck wild for them. Like there's videos of them rolling out the displays and like them just getting swarmed by people and selling out in minutes. They're like $2.99, and some people have found them on eBay or other reseller sites for like over $1,000.
Oh my God.
It's insane. It's nonsensical. But I find it even more.
Imagine us trying to sell one on the out there for like $200, and that same girl coming in and being like, "How's this worth $200?"
I don't know.
Well, you see.
But what's even more interesting is all of this is going on at the same time as Trader Joe's joining forces with Elon Musk and SpaceX, Tesla, Amazon, and Starbucks in funding legislation to stop like the proliferation of unions. Mm-hmm. So they're not like calling it union busting. I don't know. It's a bunch of different lingo, but it's. I don't know. That just seems wild to me.
In Trader Joe's, and I only have really one sample size, but this dude I know that works there fucking loves it.
The people there, yeah,
they love it.
Uh huh.
So I don't, unions. I am generally pro unions, but I also. If you treat your people so well that they don't need a union, well, that seems to be an even better
100%. Now, in my head...
Now, the other brands and companies that you put in there, I probably wouldn't categorize the same.
Yeah. I'd say Amazon is notorious for being terrible to their work. Or not terrible, but...
their drivers are under, Chinese-level surveillance all the time.
No one's ever been, I work at Amazon, and I love it. That's just, no one's ever said that. So it just... I don't really have opinions on unions. I think they're great in some cases and terrible in others. But what I think is interesting is I would assume that the majority of people, now I'm categorizing people here, passing judgment, but I would assume that most of the shoppers at Trader Joe's would be pro-union. I think that when Starbucks was going through their whole union busting phase, they would have been the loud social media population to say boycott Starbucks while they're doing this. So like at the same time they support this company that's funding behaviors that they don't like, their brand is reselling to that same population for thousands of dollars or thousands of % over market price. It's just crazy. It just speaks to how powerful brand is, and I want to build something that like people blindly care about that much too.
Yeah, that sounds cool. But I don't know. I just think the unions they don't hold the same significance as they did for your parents.
No.
And so I just think that the average Trader Joe's person doesn't understand union.
Probably.
So they're not pro-union.
I don't understand unions.
They're not anti-union. They just don't even have a stance on unions.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyways, that is interesting is and weird that Trader Joe's is throwing in their lot with those folks, but there you have it. Let's throw these two together. Microplastics are killing people, and excessive alcohol deaths are up.
Yeah. So microplastics, I feel like that's been a buzzword, the PFLAs or PVAs or whatever they are. I've been like...
Is this like the stuff like don't reuse water bottle type stuff?
Yeah, exactly. And like how... over the last few years, I've just read articles of how like...
BPA. It's BPA, I think.
That's one of them. There's tons of them.
Mm-hmm.
But like they are finding, microplastics in parts of the world that have never been like lived in by modern humans.
Oh, God. We did it. We thought it was going to be global warming, but we did it with microplastics.
Yeah, and anyway. So, but there hasn't been a direct link to adverse human effects and just their existence. Like they find them in babies. Like they take blood samples from newborn infants and they find microplastics in their bloodstream. So that's just they're there,
like
and
a zombie movie.
They don't disappear. And now they're connecting it to the accumulation of plaque within your arteries. I don't know, I'm getting real doctory here, but I guess it makes sense. Like there's a bunch of particulate floating around in your bloodstream. It's much easier for
It's a
cholesterol and stuff to collect and block your arteries. So anyway, that was scary, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're just out there.
And then boom, you have a heart attack and die.
And then booze. Booze are killing people.
Booze will get you if you overdo it, which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a giant mental health crisis. I think there's a depression, anxiety, loneliness crisis, and I think they're related. I don't think that there's like a panacea. I do think communities, helps, but I don't think it's alone a panacea or a magic bullet. But that's got to be the undercurrent behind the alcohol stuff.
Yeah.
And it's wild that, a couple weeks ago we're talking about a podcast where like less and less are younger people drinking, but yet they're still, so that means older people must be like drinking a lot.
It was like a 25% increase. So like that's a lot of people drinking a lot more.
Yeah.
Which is, I've been thinking more and more about that now that we're going to be opening a bar of like, we'll be serving alcohol.
Like, I don't, like, people have asked us this, and let's talk about it for a second. Like, what are your hours going to be? And this is an old adage. This is why I still feel comfortable saying it, because we've talked about it. But right now, our plan is to just extend hours to 8. And that's partially been a bandwidth issue, because it's like, we're owner-operating this thing, and we're going to continue to owner-operate it when we open the bar. Maybe our spouses will work a little bit, and we might, you might see a consignor behind the desk every once in a while, or, a partner or somebody, a friend or family member. But generally speaking, it's just going to be us. So we have to build the model to where that makes sense. So that's one of the drivers of that. But there's also, like, nothing's open in Brookside after 6 p.m. for a reason.
Yeah. There's definitely... The longer you're open, the drunker people get.
Right.
That's just a plus B equals C kind of thing.
Right.
So just not being open and not being able to serve alcohol as long. Why at sports games they stop serving at a certain point. So just closing a date, I think, will naturally deter that type of behavior in the first place.
Just
but then
keep
also
us from that liability.
Yeah, physically
shield us from that liability. It's still going to happen. People are still going to come in here, and there's people at DJs right now at every hour of the morning.
Professional alcoholics.
Yeah,
those people. Do it for a living.
Yeah. So there was a certain business in Raytown that had some certain trouble, and so they had to sign a contract that said that they would only be open between the hours of 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. And they recently got caught being open at like 5:30 a.m. and got their hands slapped. But it's just like, people need their drugs early, whether it's alcohol or otherwise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see people. Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, it's what were we talking about?
Booze. I enjoy drinking.
Yep.
If you don't, I get why people don't drink, but if you have ever gone out with a night of your friends and like all 5 of you and you're all having drinks and then done the same thing but not drinking, it's way different and it's way more fun if everyone has a couple drinks. I think that's a fact. I'll stand on that objective fact.
Well, history. There's millions and millions of people and generations of people that would agree with you. So you don't stand alone.
Where does it fit in a healthy, society, in a healthy community? Where does the alcohol fit? And I think, I don't know, that's a kind of fun challenge to figure out.
I remember when I worked at a Mexican restaurant that had a bar at it, there was a guy that would come in, and he was obviously an alcoholic, and he would come in with like swollen ankles. He would come in with a colostomy bag or like some variant of that, because he was having like liver failure and rejection, and we would serve him alcohol. And at some point, I'm like, yes, he's a customer and he's willing to drink alcohol, but like, what is that doing to your brand to have somebody like that sitting at your bar?
Yeah.
But it was just sad. So like, I had a moral quandary over it, but even if you were being cold-hearted and wanted to make a business, case for it, like, I wouldn't want to do that. You know, when you don't want to serve somebody is going to get in a car and shove them off into the world, So, yeah, it's scary. That's why you have insurance.
Yeah. And
you close at 8.
Yeah. And you take your work seriously.
Yeah. So, anyways, Canna Dips, speaking of other things that people imbibe in, have you seen, my Instagram is bombarding me with Canna Dip ads.
That's hilarious.
So have you seen this?
No.
It is. It's obviously a dip, like like a tobacco that you put in your mouth. And Dylan has seen it, and I guess maybe Rogan talks about it, so he's heard about it or something. And so he says maybe it doesn't super work. I don't know. They're still trying to figure it out, because the way that at least I understand real dip to work is like that. There's like tiny particulates. A nice word. I'm going to use that now. It's going to be in my vernacular. Of like fiberglass cut you open, and then the tobacco seeps in. But that's not how weed works.
No. Yeah. And also,
so I don't know. But like, if you could, let's just imagine you could just tuck one in. Wouldn't that just be the best form of consumption? Because the trouble with edibles is, you have to consume something.
Yeah.
You have to eat butter or fat, or usually like a baked good.
I mean,
hard to be on keto and eat edibles.
It gets scientific there, but like that is like the main reasoning of difference is just the way that it's metabolized in your body. Like if you either have to smoke it, or the way that it's consumed in an edible function, it has to be broken down by your liver.
Yeah.
And then, but tobacco, I think I don't fucking know.
Dude, if I could just throw in a pouch is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
it's hard to not get excited about that concept.
Yeah. I get anxious, though, about the science that makes that possible.
We already got microplastics flowing through us, Alex. It's fine. Automakers are selling data to insurance companies.
Yeah.
This is terrifying.
So this was something that was...
All of our headlines are fucking terrifying.
I know, it's a really dark water cooler today.
Yeah.
This was like a big discussion. I don't know what Chinese electric car company currently is like battling Tesla.
BYD or something.
Yeah.
Like
that was one of the main stipulations of like people not allowing them to import into U.S. was that Tesla collects all sorts of driving data on you for the self-driving purposes. It has to. And,
I don't want a Chinese-owned company self-driving millions of Americans around.
Exactly. It's terrifying. But even, bringing in domestically, so every car, even if it's not a self-driving car, has a GPS in it, and there's hundreds of computers in your car, and it's collecting thousands of data points every time you get in and drive around. And so not even necessarily location-based, but behavior-based. So they can track how quickly you accelerate, how quickly you brake, how hard you brake, how fast you go, all of these like little data points.
I'll never be insurable, ever.
And they're selling them to insurance companies, and insurance companies can look at them. Now, actually, I don't understand how they can legally connect. I guess maybe it's your legal car, but how they know you're driving it seems kind of like a legal gray area.
Right.
But theoretically, what they're doing currently is adjusting rates and accepting or denying people based on this data. And that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because you need car insurance, and it's expensive already.
Very Minority Report.
Yeah, exactly. And
then, like, how long are they going to sell that data to law enforcement to like narrow down hit and run, like suspects?
And then I'd say it's the snowball. So like once it's down the hill, we live in a information and data age. Like advertising is the next to go.
I'm never not driving. Fuck electric vehicles. Now I hate them.
Well, even your car, that newer Mazda for sure knows exactly where you are at every time.
Give me my vibe back. I need an old vehicle.
Yeah, there you go.
And I need an old American vehicle.
If you drive to Ulta, once a month on the same day, kind of, then like on that day, you're probably going to get a bunch of, makeup ads and like shit like that. I totally see this coming. So far to the fact where like, I bet in the future that you can not even purchase a car, but like have it on a subscription/lease where you're paying not money, but like just on social media, you don't pay to be on Instagram. You just sell your data.
You think people will get cars just for data?
I bet free cars. I bet if a company will come up and say, you get a car that's safe, air works, heat works, it's got self-driving capabilities.
We need walkable cities again. That's what we need. We need to fight back against that. I hate it.
Yeah, I agree.
This is terrible. Oh, all right, let's talk about good news. Okay. Chris Jones has re-signed.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think
he would. I thought he was going to.
Right? Everybody thought he was gone. Last year was crazy. The Katz brothers. But he said, he drunkenly proclaimed at the parade, I ain't going nowhere. like
Love it.
Wolf of Wall Street type shit. And he signed. And the other good news, Mahomes is restructuring his contract. Right?
That's got to be the key now.
It's kind of like we talked about not selling booze to the alcoholic, because what does it do to your brand? Sure, you make a little money on the front end. Mahomes is playing the long game here. How much more money is he going to be worth if he is fucking the Pele from American football, right?
Yeah.
If he is Messi, but of American football. Way beyond Michael Jordan or Babe Ruth. If he is... the most famous and brandable athlete in the world. He just signed a lifetime contract with Adidas. He was in a picture with Sia Khaleesi, who is like the 2-time World Cup winning captain for South Africa rugby. Jurgen Kloppsman, or I don't know, some giant club soccer coach over there. He's a bunch of like famous world athletes. He just signed a lifetime contract with Adidas. He sees the long game. Like, if I win 1 billion Super Bowls, that'll be worth more than like
an extra $10 million over the next.
So let me cut myself off here, and I'm sure he's doing fine stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that they stuff some money somewhere else, in another pocket somehow in his pay packet, and he's fine. But that's great news. And then the third piece of great news is the Kansas City Current Stadium is finally opening this Saturday. They're having their giant opener. Years in the making. Have you seen any of the renderings of the locker rooms or anything?
Dude, the locker room looks sick.
Yeah.
I think they hit it out of the park with that.
Dude, this stadium is going to be outrageous. Have you seen some of the food offerings?
So it's all like local...
All local shit,
food,
like
right?
Waldo Thai. Remember that High Hopes ice cream? They were at like Harp's grand opening.
Oh yeah, with the
They're in it.
The cornbread ice cream.
Oh my god, the best thing I've ever tasted in my life. So I think the stadium, they're going to have knocked it out of the park, and so congratulations to them. That's awesome, and it's like the first stadium ever in the world for women's sports.
Yeah,
or women's professional sport.
It's interesting, like now, to look at how much good publicity and just how great the stadium is turning out. It's like as if the Royals corporation was watching them and like, let's do everything different.
Yeah, let's
like,
do everything the other way.
The wrong way.
Yeah.
Like clearly you can build a new stadium downtown and get the entire support of the community behind it.
I saw a billboard that said Independence wants the Royals, and I didn't know what it means. Is there a bid to move the Royals to Independence?
I don't think so.
Don't do that.
That doesn't sound like... I haven't seen any plans for that. That's crazy.
I could see Independence wanting the Royals to stay where they are, but...
I was listening to Mayor Quentin Lucas. He did an interview this morning, and I can't remember who was interviewing him, but he asked him about the vote, and it sounds like he has like a tentative... He's definitely behind it, but he's like playing his cards appropriately and not trying to throw his full support behind it. But yeah, I don't. I'm interested.
I think it's going to fail. I think it's going to fail, and I think that the second, I think it will eventually pass. We will eventually pass a new tax, but I think that this one's going to fail.
I would agree. I'm excited. I think that would be cool.
When is the vote? I want it to happen.
April 1st, 6th?
Happen already.
First week, April.
Happen on April Fool's Day. That would be fantastic. The last note I have here is our house is going to be vacant soon.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be shoving our last resident out into the world. Another resident of our boarding home is moving on.
There's been a lot of people who have
greener pastures
called that house home in the last 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, our friends Katie and Colson, they have purchased a house where in Independence.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you know where in Independence?
By Cargo Largo.
Oh, that's right. What road is that on?
Nolan Road. It's by like Truman High School.
Oh, okay. Okay, really?
Here's their exact address. I wouldn't even know it if I, but it's back there.
That's true. Docs them.
They're new to Kansas City. This was like their arrival. This was their Ellis Island home of arriving to Kansas City from wherever they came from. So yeah, that's the house. Has gone through weird proliferations. First, I lived there. Then I got married, and my wife didn't want to live there, or else we'd be fucking loaded. So we bought a house in Blue Springs, which we love. And then Alex's brothers lived there. And then...
I went to school and moved to Olathe. And then Katie and Colson moved in.
And then Katie and Colson moved in. And that was a scramble to get that thing up to like a better living standard.
Yeah,
than
2
me
bachelor
and
college students into a married couple.
And now it's probably in much better shape. We'll probably have to do some spiffing. But we don't really want to put anybody else in it, but we're probably feeling like we need to sublet it.
Yeah.
Like one more time.
Just one more time.
Yeah. We have a lot of fantasies about what we can do with it, but none of them are enough to pay for it. Or at least we're not confident enough in them to go full bore in it. So we'll see. But that's been the maturation of the house. You want to live in it? That's weird, but you can call us.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to go back to work.
Peace.
See you later.
3 weeks in a row, baby. We're on fire.